The time is 5:14. The date is 12 of December 2016. You're listening to the Jesus Heart Radio, and it's time now for the Christian Hearts Christian Fellowship online ministry with myself, the pastor of the Christian Hearts Christian Fellowship online ministry, and the founder and CEO and DJ of the Jesus Heart Radio. Now let's get into the good word. Good evening, folks. A lot of people, and this is your pastor, Brother Isaac David Bringman, speaking today on a subject of the holidays. Some of this comes out of the Bible and some of this comes from my own thinking. But I want to talk to y'all today about this time of the year. A lot of people make some rash decisions and start saying and doing things that we don't know why they do it. But they do it anyway. And it hurts us to think that there are people out there that actually believe that they're doing the right thing by what they say and do when they don't. They just hurt themselves more than they do try to hurt other people. So I'll give you an example. Say you're a great guy and you're doing a great deal of good for others. And you try hard not to make a mess out of what you're doing, but you still do. And you still get to the point where people look at you funny because they don't get what you're trying to say or do. So they see what you're doing and they try to take it to heart, or not to heart, depending on how they feel about it. And so when they do this, they see the way the world works and pretty much they assume that that's how the world is. But you got to learn, if you want the world to see the way things are, the way God intended it to be, then you shouldn't be doing like that. You should do things to yourself and to others that prove to the world that this is how the world is, not what you say it is, or not what you want it to look like. Because people used to think that the world was what God wanted it to be. Now they start listening to other people and start getting in trouble when they should have just listened to what God said to start with, and they wouldn't have had all these problems. But no, they had to listen to a power that wasn't even to do with God. I mean, if you think about it, why are we even living on this earth if we don't care about it? Probably because the fact if we don't care about this world we live on, then we're just doing things we shouldn't do. And that's stupid. Like, give you an example. God made the people. God made the people to do what God said. God made the people to be what God wanted them to be. So that's why we're on this earth. But it makes you wonder, should it ever happen that way? Okay, here we go. Here's a good example of something that you should be thinking about this time of year. It goes like this. Okay, go to Matthew 1 and go down to the 18th to the 25th of Matthew 1. And I'm going to read all of that from 18 to 25. This is how Jesus Christ was born. A young woman named Mary was engaged to Joseph from King David's family. But before they were married, she learned that she was going to have a baby by God's Holy Spirit. Joseph was a good man and did not want to embarrass Mary in front of everyone, so he decided to quickly call off the wedding. While Joseph was thinking about this, an angel of the Lord came to him in a dream. The angel said, "Joseph, the baby that Mary will have is from the Holy Spirit. Go ahead and marry her. Then after her baby is born, name him Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins." So the Lord's promise came true, just as the prophet had said. A virgin will have a baby boy, and he will be called Emmanuel, which means God is with us. After Joseph woke up, he and Mary were soon married, just as the Lord's angels had told him to do. But they did not sleep together before her baby was born. Then Joseph named him Jesus. Okay, now let's go over here and do... hold on here, I need to shut this noise off. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next one. I can get it to it. Okay, now we're going to read Matthew 2. When Jesus was born in the village of Bethlehem in Judah, Herod was king during this time. Some wise men from the east came to Jerusalem and said, "Where is the child born to be king of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard, let me read it again. Excuse me. When Jesus was born in the village of Bethlehem in Judah, Herod was king. During this time, some wise men from the east came to Jerusalem and said, "Where is the child born to be king of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and came to worship him." When King Herod heard about this, he was worried, and so was everyone else in Jerusalem. Herod brought together the chief priests and the teachers of the law of Moses and asked them, "Where will the Messiah be born?" They told him, "He will be born in Bethlehem, just as the prophet wrote. Bethlehem in the land of Judah, you are very important among the towns of Judea. Far from your town will come a leader who will be like a shepherd for my people Israel." Herod secretly called the wise men to ask them when they had first seen the star. He told them, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, let me know. I want to go and worship him too." The wise men listened to what the king said and then left, and the star they had seen in the east went on ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. They were thrilled and excited to see the star. When the men went into the house and saw the child with Mary, his mother, they knelt down and worshipped him. They took out their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh and gave them to him. Later they were warned in a dream not to return to Herod, and they went back home by another road. After the wise men had gone, an angel from the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Get up, hurry, and take the child and his mother to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you to return, because Herod is looking for the child and wants to kill him." That night Joseph got up and took his wife and the child to Egypt, where they stayed until Herod died. So the Lord's promise came true, just as the prophet had said, "I called my son out of Egypt." When Herod found out that the wise men from the east had tricked him, he was very angry. He gave orders for his men to kill all the boys who lived in or near Bethlehem and were 2 years old and younger. This was based on what he had learned from the wise men. So the Lord's promise came true, just as the prophet Jeremiah had said. In Ramah, a voice was heard crying and weeping loudly. Rachel was mourning for her child, and she refused to be comforted because they were dead. After King Herod died, an angel from the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph while he was still in Egypt. The angel said, "Get up and take the child and mother back to Israel. The people